Hi, everybody. Oh, the light is shining right in my eyes. Let's see. Let me try to set this up. I can't do anything to make the light work, and I don't want to get a pain in my neck. So I'm not sure how to set this up. Hi. Shall I try to guess and see who's first? I'm trying to find a place for this where I'll still have some light and where I don't have to have my neck turned around. Hi, Chris. Nice to see you. Hi, Myra. Nice to see you. I feel as if I haven't seen you all in so long. It's just, it's getting harder and harder. Yeah, it's great to see you. It's getting harder and harder because I just have so much going on and so many things to do that it's hard to find the time. And then I was supposed to come on last night and I hurt my back. I was taking out a lot of trash. It's very unromantic, but I was carrying some heavy bags and I really hurt my back. I used the coconut oil last night to try to help with it, and I have to tell you, it's extremely healing. Hi, Rita. Nice to see you. Yeah, so it did help some. My leg has been killing me for days now. It's been really tough. I'm assuming it might have something to do with the weather. The weather has been awful, but it's been awful in a lot of the country. I know we're having really weird weather. Very, very cold for this time of year. Oh, hi, Sheila. Yeah, I am feeling a lot better. My back is definitely better. My leg is better to a degree, but it's not fun. No, thank God. Yeah, thank God it was not a fall. No, I try to be so careful. I really do. And I feel relatively secure most of the time. The only time I get nervous is when sometimes, especially if it has anything to do with real estate, and I've been trying to do things with that, if I have to go into any kind of a structure that has steps in front of it and they don't have a railing, I get really nervous. I do. And the funny thing is, I had a friend, Anne, who used to be terrified of walking up and downstairs, but primarily downstairs. And she had that fear for years, and I never understood it. Boy, do I understand it now. It is frightening. I went into an old client's house, I guess about a week ago. Yeah, just about a week ago. And he has these wide, beautiful steps in front of the house, but no railing. And I started going up, and he opened the front door because he saw me coming. And his big dog came out to greet me, and I was so terrified that I was going to fall backward. So it was a scary kind of time. Thank God I did not. But it made me a little bit nervous. And I'm always wanting to make sure that I don't look like I've got some kind of disability that's going to make it more difficult for me to function in the business if I'm able to get business. So, interesting. I just know somebody just liked something on my Poshmark closet. So that is another fascinating thing. Went to the movies again last weekend and I saw Harriet. I absolutely loved it. I feel so incredibly lucky that I've seen probably all the really good movies that have come out lately. This is the story of Harriet Tubman, and it is what an amazing life that woman led. She just was a very brave soul whose passion and whose calling was to help other people to be free. And her life was unbelievable, and she lived to a ripe old age. So it was an interesting movie. If any of you have a chance to see it and you haven't already seen it, I would do that. Hi, Casey. Nice to see you. You saw Midway? Did you like it? Because Midway is one of the ones I was considering. I may not be going out this Saturday night because he's got a lousy cold, and I frankly don't want to get sick. So I may be left to my own devices on Saturday, which will be strange, but I will get through it. There's actually something that I want to see on Netflix. I don't know if any of you know this. It was called, you loved it. Okay, good. So that will be on my list as well. I want to see the Mr. Rogers movie that's coming out. I think that's coming out. I don't remember if that one's coming out on tomorrow, actually. One of them. There are one or two. Oh, and I want to see the one with Helen Mirren and Ian Kellum. I really want to see that film. What is that called? Great Liar or something Liar. And I saw the coming attractions. They really, really called to me. So I want to see that. But there is a movie there's a documentary, or I'm not sure exactly what format it takes, but it is about these twin brothers. And the story, I think it's called Tell Me Who I Am. I don't know if any of you know that or have heard of it or have read or seen anything about it, but apparently these were twin brothers, and right after high school, one of them was coming back from a wedding of a friend, and he was riding a motorcycle, I believe, and he lost control, and he wound up having a bad head injury and had no memory of his past. So it's a fascinating story, and I'm very, very curious to see it. I don't want to divulge anything else about it just in case anybody hasn't seen it and has interest in doing it, but it's something I definitely want to see. I also want to see The Irishman, but I don't want to see that in the movies because from what I gather, it is something like 3.75 hour movie. Yeah, definitely look it up, Myra. It looks like a fascinating story. I hope I'm not getting the cold or the flu or whatever the heck it turns out to be. He did get a flu shot just prior to getting sick, but he's sick. Uh, I do not want to get sick. Needless to tell you, I gave at the office. I've been there, done that, so I'd like to stay healthy. For the rest of my life would be a good period of time for me. I don't want to do sick anymore. So there is all of that, and I have been very busy most of the time with getting things done here. There's so much more that needs to get done. There are so many things that I haven't gotten around to. I have a friend who called me first thing in the morning today. You got your flu shot? I really think I'm coming down with the bug. And that's going to make me extraordinarily unhappy because I very specifically said when he had a tickle, that I thought he was getting sick and not to be around me, but it didn't work out that way. You're not very late, Susan, and I'm really happy you're here. So, yeah. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you. Let's see. I missed something. Oops. Nope. Where is it? I lost. Okay. Yeah, I lost it for a minute. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I really well, maybe too late for me with the flu shot. I'm really looking forward, if I'm well enough, I'm looking very much forward to going back on Sunday to that writers group because you got sick. Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, I've been taking, I've been taking 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C each day and trying, oh, thanks a lot. And trying to, and taking a little bit more sometimes. I'll go as high as 2,000 milligrams if I feel something coming on. Generally speaking, it does take care of it, but it only takes care of it if you do it at the onset. If you don't, it's too late. But I'm hoping that I can avoid it because, as I say, I just don't need it. I have too much to do. Nothing special about my makeup today, by the way. It's just, hi, it's nice to see you, Grace. Oh, my back is bothering me a little bit when I try to kind of shift position. I was also thinking of doing a little bit of a fashion video. I'm having so much trouble, I told you, trying to upload normal videos. I still have to straighten it out. Technology used to be my friend, but not so much these days, and it's not fun. Because I'm taking old outfits like what I'm wearing today. I wish I could show it to you better. I don't know how much of it you can see. Let me see if I can kind of tilt this a little bit. I'm not sure if this is going to work. It's kind of a pretty crochet type look outfit. It is, I'm wearing, well, this is not going to work. I am wearing a pair of pants that I had gotten from Chico's quite, oh, this is really swell. I cannot believe I did this. I'm sorry. I totally screwed it up. Oh my Lord. Okay. Is that gonna work? I don't think that works. I feel like a dope. Okay. Because I'm finding ways of putting things together from all the old stuff, and I thought it might be fun for some people to see so, you know, they can get an idea of what they might be able to do themselves. It's all good. I'm getting blinded now by the light from the lamp that's sitting on the desk. Getting rid of a lot of paperwork. I don't know if anybody else suffers from the paperwork thing. I have all this, I have all this paperwork that I have for years. I cannot tell you. I have stuff from my business that I have thrown out recently. Some of it went back as far as, I think, 2000, or I think some of it even a little bit before. It's amazing. It's so easy to drown in paper. It really is. There are so many things that need to be fixed in my house. I feel as if things are falling apart as I go near them. 19 years, right? I mean, stuff that I just finally took it and I just dumped it. And I'm the kind of person who saves things often just in case I need it. It really does fly. It's going way too fast. And I keep telling people that I keep saying, there is nothing more important. Hi, Rosanna. It does seem like yesterday, Casey, 19 years. I have, I just lost my train of thought. Totally forgot. There is something that I wanted to mention. I want to, how do I put this? There have been, in the past, there had been many people who had asked me to do readings for them because I have tended well, even since I was a child, I have tended to know things sometimes. And it's something I have not done for a very long time. I was kind of forced into it many times in my life when people came to me and begged me to do it. So I've been thinking about it a little bit lately, and I was thinking that I would like to possibly try it again. So, what I'd like to say is if any of you know any people who might benefit by something like that, I would like to do it. I do. I do. And I've had it always, and it's a door that I don't always want to open, but it's been so helpful to people and it's made a huge difference in their lives. So I want to try to do it again, but I want to try to do it just as a kind of test for myself and to see if I still can, because I haven't for a long time. Yeah, isn't it? And so if any of you know of anybody who might really benefit by it, let me know. You can let me know on the Facebook page. You can let me know here. You can let me know by private message or email me or whatever, because I would like to do it. Probably the best way is going to be by telephone. It would be best if I don't know them or don't know anything about them, so that whatever I get is what I get. So there's no knowledge ahead of time of what they might be about, or just I am more than happy to do it. I'm going to try to do. I'm thinking maybe 5 to 10 people over a period of time, because I think that should give me a really good idea of whether this is something I can still do. Okay, I will be more than happy to do it. Do me a favor, reiterate it in an email to me. You have my email address. It's the growingolderwithstyle at gmail.com. And just let me know. And we'll have to set up a time and we will talk. And again, that's all I need. I want no information whatsoever, because I want it to be pure and explain what a reading is. All right, what happens is, and this is something I really believe that it's kind of inherited, because my mother had it and her mother had it before her, and my son has it, though he and I had never talked about it. But recently we wound up having an accidental conversation in which he was talking about life and the universe and all kinds of things. And it was a very interesting conversation. I, I, well, I mean, I love my subscribers. I have the most wonderful people in this little corner of the universe, and I feel very fortunate to have them. So I am thrilled. Okay, so what a reading is, it is just what I do when I've done a reading in person. I'll tell you the whole story about how it started. But when I do a reading in person, what I usually do is I like to hold an object that belongs to the person, and it's something that that person alone would use. Because if it was something that were used by a lot of different people, I would pick up energy from different people. But this way I pick up the energy only from the person who it belongs to. But I found many years ago that I didn't really even need that I could do it at a distance, and it could be done over the phone, or it could be done in any way like that. And many things have come up. The way it started was many years ago, even before I started to do, I used to have dreams, precognitive dreams, where I would dream of plane crashes and I would dream of all kinds of things. And then it would happen. And it would happen within a day, 2 or 3, something like that. And in my dreams, it was really disturbing because I would always be on the plane when it was a plane. So I would experience how it happened. And then I started to have all these other things and just knowing things that happen. I've had crazy things. I remember when I saw a headline. I don't remember if it was a dream or during a reading, to be honest with you, but I saw a headline, and the headline mentioned Jet Travolta. And I thought, why would I see a headline about Jet Travolta? And it turned out it was just a couple of days before he died. And there was the headline that came up afterwards, and it was kind of astounding for me. There are many, many incidences like that. I had one about Waco, but I didn't know it was Waco. I knew it was some person who I perceived as a very dangerous and sort of lunatic kind of person, and that there was going to be an incident and that it was going to have very far-reaching effects. So there was that. I got when the Berlin Wall came down, just many, many, many things. So to get back to the reading, what happens is if somebody has, if they're going through a difficult time in their lives, or if they are feeling as if they're at a crossroads, or they need help with something, or they need information, sometimes getting this kind of thing can help. I know it has helped a lot of people. A lot of people have told me that. I mean, there was a woman that I knew years ago. I sold her house many, many years ago. And I had told her, I did a reading for her, and I had told her some things, and she couldn't connect to anything I was saying. When I did it, I thought, wow, I was really off. But a couple of years later, she saw me in the street, and she came running down the street to catch me, to tell me that everything, you just say the name? Yeah. I think we all have that ability. I really do. There is a connection that we have, and it's like any gift that anybody has. Some people have the gift of music. Some people have the gift of words. There are so many things that people can do. It's just a question of what you let expand in your life. It's what becomes something that you need to do in a way. It's really like, it is like a passion. It is like it's like something you're meant to do. I really suspect on many levels. So again, I'm going to make that offer. And as I say, what I will do is I'll probably extend it to about 10 people all told. Because before I offer it on any kind of basis, I don't want to offer it unless I know that it's still working and that it's still helpful and it's still good. So that is the story about that. Um, God, there was something else I wanted to talk to you about and I lost it. I don't know. Totally forgot. So if anybody, is anybody in the chat? Is anybody chatting? Or am I just not seeing it? Or, okay. Yeah, that's it. Everybody's being quiet, so another talent. It's, we all have what we have. Um, yeah, I'm sure that it is still there because I still do know things. I do. Yeah, I know, Myra. And I'm kind of anxious in a way because I think I tried. And hi, it's nice to see you. I really tried to kind of back off. Thanks, Kathy. Jet Travolta was John Travolta's son, and he was very young, and he died very suddenly. And I saw the headline in the paper, so I love you, girl. Um, and it's just all those kinds of things. But I think when you don't do it for a while and very actively don't do it, that it's like anything else. If you play piano and if you don't practice for a long time, or if you do ballet but you don't practice, can you do it? Or can you do it right away? So I know, I know. Um, so I don't know. I don't know the answer to it, but I would like to find out. And I really hope that it's there because, as I say, in the past, it's been really, really helpful. There was the girl who's, well, I had never met her before, and I've told this story, I think, once before. I had been to many years ago. My son was seeing this girl, and I was at her parents' house, and they were having a party. Has it ever frightened me? The only time it frightened me, to tell you the truth, was when I saw my own problem. Because for months before, I will get back to the story, by the way. For months before I got sick, or knew that I was sick, or knew that there was anything wrong, I was, there was something wrong with him when he was born. I don't know. I don't remember that part of it, but yeah, as I say, I saw the headline a day or two before he died. Um, okay, I'm losing my train of thought again. This is not good. Uh, what was I saying? Somebody lead me home. I need help. I'm good at all this stuff, but good Lord, I can get led astray. Where the heck are we? Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Let me go back to the chat. Maybe the clue is in there. Oh, asking about when it frightened me. Sorry. Yeah, it was. Thank, thanks a lot. Um, for months before I knew that I was sick, I had I had seen, when I do a reading for anybody and they have turmoil in their lives or turmoil is coming up, the way I see it, and I see it, yes, thanks. Yeah. Um, it was, what I see is it looks like dark clouds swirling around my field of vision. And whenever I see those swirling clouds, I know that somebody is coming up for a difficult time. Now, when I see it in a reading, that's okay because I know I'm seeing it for the person I'm reading. But for months before I knew that I had a problem, I was seeing it all the time. And I would not want to see it. I had mentioned it to Linda at one point. I said, I keep seeing these dark clouds. And because I'm not reading anybody, I had a feeling it was for me. But I thought if I could make it go away, that I wouldn't have to deal with it. And then, of course, when this did happen, I realized, good grief, it was not good. Now, after the surgery, that it totally went away, and I didn't see that anymore. But recently, I have been seeing a little bit of it, but not the same way. I'm seeing it outside of my field of vision now, and it feels like it's going down and going away. So it appears to me as a tiny little bit of turmoil, but like it's disappearing. So I said, okay, that's got to mean one of two things. Either things are going to get better and the turmoil will be in my past, or I'm going to die. And I didn't know which one it was going to be. So that has yet to be fulfilled one way or the other. But that was the way it was happening. Now I'm going to go back to that girl and the story I was telling you. When I had gone to David's girlfriend's house at the time, there were people there, and everybody used to ask me for readings all the time. And I hated to say no, but I didn't want to do it. So this girl came over and they said to me, can you talk to her? And I said, fine. And I'd never met her before. I didn't know her name. I knew nothing about her. And I was sitting there and I just kept getting this overwhelming feeling. So the way I get my messages is, and I close my eyes usually sometimes and see it kind of on my lids is the way it feels. But I don't have to totally close my eyes sometimes. The thing that makes it difficult about reading anybody is that I see symbols. I see symbols and I have to interpret the symbols. So my interpretation might be right or it might not be 100% right. So the message could get skewed a little bit. But anyway, I kept seeing this figure of a man, his back to me, and I saw a headstone like he was walking away from this headstone. And when I said that to the girl, she started to cry. And her father had died, I think it was maybe 5 months before that. And she could not get out of her mind that she perceived him to be lying in that grave in the cold ground. And she couldn't live her life because it so disturbed her to see that. But I was told that after that happened, that she was okay with it because what the message was saying very clearly was he was not there, that he walked away from that. So the person that he was and his soul, his essence, was not there. You know, his body was there. And the body, of course, is the vessel or the coat that we wear while we go through life on this planet. So that was that story. And then the woman who chased me down the street, what I had told her was, and I remember, there are certain things I remember years and years after it happens. He had Kawasaki disease. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I do remember that it was a seizure that he died from, but I had no knowledge of any of it. And as I say, I just saw it as a headline. But for this girl, I had seen the letter S. I remember seeing that. And I remember telling her at the time that I said, you have a friend, a girlfriend, and you think she's a good friend of yours. I said, she's not your friend. And I don't remember all the other things, but there are just certain things that stand out. When she came chasing me down the street, and this was years later, she said, I had to tell you, everything you told me came true. And she said that was her dear friend who, after the dear friend's husband died, he was actually murdered by the Russian mafia. I shouldn't say that. He was murdered. And after he was murdered, she wound up marrying stealing this girl's husband and marrying him. So, you know, it just, it is hard to accept. And sometimes, you know, the things that I see haven't happened yet. So people often can't associate with it because it hasn't happened. So they have no frame of reference until they do. So it's an interesting phenomenon and one that, for me, I know helps. And the fact that it helps um, it makes me want to do it again while I still have the ability to do it if I do. So we shall see. And why not just add one more thing to the to all the things on my plate? And yeah. Okay, so is there anything that anybody wants to talk about tonight? We haven't been having our usual chat where everybody kind of chimes in. So I would love to hear from you and tell me where you are in the world and what's happening that's of excitement for you. I'm sure everybody saw um, Susan's little granddaughter. How cute. That baby is adorable. It's really great seeing that. And I have to tell you, I really was not doing Instagram. I mean, I'm still not doing it a lot. And I do put in those motivational things and put an occasional little thing in there. But, aw, thanks. I know I have been crazy, crazy. Oh, really? Oh, okay, great. Nice to know. You're eating wine gums? I don't think I know that. Sounds good, though. It sounds good. I have been so bad eating sweet garbage. It's really, really not good. It's not good. I think I'm also gaining a little bit of weight. That's not good. I forgot to take my pills for a few days. Yes, absolutely a quiet bunch tonight. Yeah, I never heard of that, wine gums. Um, oh, how nice. Oh, that's exciting. That's really exciting. Kathy's saying her daughter gave her grandson and his spouse a beautiful baby shower Sunday. She's due January 21st. That's exciting when the new life comes into the family. It's wonderful. I have been so bad because I tend to go to the Dollar Tree a lot. I get my tissue paper there and I pick up my curling ribbon there. This is yeah, this is quiet for this group. We tend to it's like a girlfriend's kind of chat, or I don't want to say that because there are guys who join us sometimes as well, but it's like old friends meeting for a little bit of coffee clutch or a pajama party or something like that. We actually had a wonderful party New Year's Eve. There were a lot of people on, and it was a lot of fun, kind of making sure that everybody had something to do. For those of us in the States, does everybody have plans for Thanksgiving? I cannot believe it's coming up so fast. It's really going to be here before we turn around. I am trying real estate. I absolutely am. And I have this client who says, I went to his house last week. I know. Um, yeah, God, I'm tired tonight. You have to forgive me. What else is new? I'm tired all the time lately. Yeah, what happened was I went to his house last week and he's called me in before and we've talked before and they've wanted to move but they weren't sure and then they wanted to move and then they weren't sure. But this time I'll tell you in a minute, Myra. Um, this time he said he thinks he does want to put his house on the market in January. I actually have to go to the paint store because I want to pick up a couple of paint chips because I made a recommendation that he paint two of the doors on his house. I think it'll pop a lot better with the siding color he has. And I made a recommendation for a few things that he should do in the house and that I can stage it before it goes on the market. I'm also trying to do some staging again. So I've put out a couple of feelers in that regard and I'm hoping that it happens. So that would be good. I want to get back to all of it. All of this other stuff that I'm doing is fine. Number one, it is not going to make me a living, at least not right now. And it's very tedious. There's a lot of work involved. I'm enjoying a certain aspect of it, and I'm enjoying giving new life to things and having people enjoy the things that I no longer need or have use for or want. And I know that the things have a new home, so that makes me feel good. About, I know, let me tell you something, Myra. That is one of my biggest problems. And I've said that before. My staged houses look so good that that's been my issue. I've had a call several times from homeowners after I staged the house telling me that they no longer wanted to sell because they fell in love with their homes again. Each and every time, thankfully, they did wind up selling, but it made them second guess what they were doing because all of a sudden the home that had gotten old and tired or that they no longer saw was refreshed and new and exciting and just all kinds of wonderful things. So, yeah, that part of it is interesting. But yes, as of now, he says he's thinking that he will possibly, first he said he was going to put his house on the market in the spring, but I told him truthfully that our spring starts in January, the spring market. So I think he should, right after the holidays, I think he should put the house on the market and let's run with it and see what happens. And then I need to find him the perfect home. And I told him that too. It's an interesting phenomenon that when somebody is ready to sell, the right house is available. It's like a dance. And how it happens, I don't know. Yeah, that would be great to have my own show on HGTV. Um, yeah, that would definitely be fun. But it's interesting. The interesting thing for me is that I've had to reinvent myself over and over and over again lately. And I'm discovering not only that I'm able to rekindle my love for some of these things that I used to do, but that I also seem to really enjoy the process of reopening those packages, if you will, and just taking another look at a different side of my persona and being able to do different things. For me, part of life, a really important part of life, is growth. It's the ability to learn and to do something new every day. Every day that I can learn something is a happy day for me. So I'm grateful for it. And I'm just hoping everything's okay. To get back to Myra's question, Linda's doing okay. She's been going through a kind of depression a lot lately, but that happens to her. She takes medication for depression, and sometimes they need to change it up a little bit so that it gets better, but she's okay. I think she's living a little bit vicariously through me and my reaching out and dating process. So I think she's getting a kick out of that. And she's well, thankfully. She has, gone through her whole thing of going to all the doctors that she goes to and checking everything out, and everything's good. She does have the roommates, so she has people around, and that part of it's good. And yeah, I mean, the good thing about us, and people have said, some people have thought that I was not a good friend or she was not a good friend or whatever. And in truth, we are both good friends to each other. Yeah. You know what makes a good friend to me in many ways? If you can say to a friend, hey, listen, this is screwy. Or, hey, listen, are you aware of the fact that you're doing this? Or, you know, don't do. Linda said to me one day, I told her, that now that I started going to all these meetups, and I'm fascinated by all these things. One is the laws of attraction, and I'm very aware of the laws of attraction and have been for many, many years, which leads me back to the whole thing about the meditation. And if any of you are doing it, I hope you're enjoying it. Myra, you'll have to let me know because I know you were going to do it, as long as I don't have to ride with how you write. Because any of you who don't know, Linda's not the world's greatest driver, but she is a very good friend. So we were talking one day, and I was saying to her, I told her about the meetup that I went to for the writing, and that it was a 5-hour session, and it was wonderful, and everything was absolutely terrific. And she said to me, and I said, I want to go to another one because there was another one locally. And she said to me, you're doing all these things to avoid doing what you need to do, what you need to get done. And I sat there for a split second. It didn't take long. And I said to her, I know I am. And that was the truth. The truth was, as much as I love all this stuff, I cannot lose the main focus for me. I really can't. I have got to focus on what I'm doing to get to the next place in my world, wherever that place turns out to be. But I am feeling upbeat, a little bit excited. And, there are days when I'm plunged into the depths of hell, going through some of the stuff that I'm going through. But at the same time, I don't know, a 5-hour meet. No, it was not a social thing. Excuse me. I better not be getting this cold. It was a meetup of writers, and these writers all had parts of their manuscripts. There are some who are poets, but most of them, American hard gums, large, chewy, sugar-coated fruit. Oh, yum, yum. That sounds wonderful. That's something I would love. So yeah, so there were 19 people at the meeting. What they did, and it was the first meeting I went to, so I wasn't prepared. But what they did was everybody read part of the manuscript that they were working on, and then the rest of the group critiqued it. Oh, you had to look it up. That's funny. So there was some really good writers there. My God, I just loved some of the stuffs, and some of the poetry was wonderful, very conceptual, really very wonderful. Some of it minimal, but wonderful stuff. And then I read my story to them, and I was nervous reading it because these are all accomplished writers, and I didn't have copies to hand them, and mine was at the end of the day. But yeah, yes, David was talking about my writing. I used to write a lot. I really used to write a lot. And I love it because my characters take on a life of their own. I don't know how to explain it. When I was reading my part of that thing that I read to you all recently, one of the guys there said, you really developed that character very well. He said, I could see him. He said, I could see him down to his dirty nails and all of that. And he said, do you know what he said, I have a feeling of where he's going. He said to me, do you know where you're going next with these characters? And I said, no. I said, because the truth is, when I write, the characters come alive and they have their own life and they lead me down a path. And I never know where that path is going to take me. It just takes me where it takes me. And I'm always fascinated. And sometimes I'm like, wow, I can't believe he or she did that. So it's interesting. So I don't know whether I am, what do they call that? Split personality. and the rest of me comes out in all these fragmented little bits and pieces or what. But it is an interesting process that happens for me. And when I said that, one or two of the other writers there were shaking their heads. So obviously they had the same experience of it. And there are times when I have sat down at my keyboard and I cannot write one sentence. Nothing comes out feeling right, sounding right. So I don't know. So I have to see where my skill and my art leads me with that at this point. I also used to draw and I did a little bit of painting, but you know, this life is too short to do everything, and you kind of have to pick and choose the things that excite you the most, I think, or whatever it is that you're meant to do. I really believe that if we listen to that inner voice that tells us things, we really have a good idea of what direction to take. Good night, my love. um, so that is my story for tonight. So again, my God, I was talky tonight. It is very hard to quiet your mind. Yeah, it is extremely, extremely calming. It really is. I had a friend come over first thing this morning. She called me, and I had started out the conversation telling you about that. She called me, it was probably 8:30 in the morning, and she said, "Do you mind if I come over and use your blood pressure cuff?" She said, "I don't feel well. I feel very shaky." So I said, "Absolutely, come on over." So she did, and in truth, her blood pressure was sky high. I did not want to tell her. I didn't want it to sound as if I was concerned, because when you're feeling extremely nervous and tense and you have a pressure that goes crazy, the last thing you need is somebody who gets panicky with you. So I very calmly told her that yes, it was high at that moment, but that I thought she needed to just sit and relax. It could be an aberration. We could take it again in a little while and it might be better. But you try and you end up, yes, that's absolutely true, Ange. It's a process learning how to meditate. You have to, every time a thought comes in, that's why they have those things that you need, the mantra that you should repeat, because it can focus your mind again. So that is a helpful way to go. But anyway, so she was here for a while, and her pressure at one point, it was, I think it was 200 something over 112, 114, and it was really high. So I decided at that point to give, she's never had high blood pressure before. She's had it a little bit high, but nothing. And I know that feeling when it gets crazy high and when you feel very shaky inside. So I happened to have some chamomile tea in the house. And I have to tell you, I am such a believer in it now. Somebody had told me about it a long time ago, and I bought one of those little celestial seasonings things, which reminds me I have to go to the supermarket tomorrow, and I intend to buy more of the tea bags because they are wonderful. So I got a sampler case, and in it they had, it is honey vanilla chamomile tea. And yes, and she said it was delicious. I could see a difference in her after she drank it. She didn't want to drink it, and she was taking 2 sips, and she sat, and I said to her, "Gail, take more of the tea." So by the time, it's wonderful. So by the time she finished, she did feel a little bit better. Her pressure was still high. So after about maybe a half hour or 45 minutes, she wound up going home, and her husband went with her to the doctor. She was really terrified. And I said, "Don't be terrified." I said, "I'm sure they'll put you on medication," which is ultimately what the doctor did. So it kind of started my day off that way. And tonight, before I go to sleep, I'm going to get into a meditative state again. I have a couple of the meditations that I need to catch up on, but my intention is to do that because, again, it's so helpful. I think, it's an interesting thing, Casey. I asked her if she wanted me to go with her to the hospital or to the doctor or what she needed, whatever she needed, I was there for her. But at the same time, after I came home from the hospital, she came to visit me once in rehab. Yeah, she did feel better. Yeah. And I didn't want to bother her the rest of the day. And I wound up going out for lunch today with Jackie and had the most wonderful lunch and the most relaxing couple of hours. It was just good all around. But yeah, she did. And when I was in rehab, she came up with Jackie, and I know it was her idea. I adore Jackie, but Jackie it is not her ability to do that kind of thing. If she didn't have the prodding, she would never have come. I know that. So Gail, I'm sure, said, let's go visit Jerry. And they did visit me. And of course, I spent my birthday in rehab, so they brought me a wonderful cannoli cake. And when I came home, one day Gail came over and she brought me some chicken and some soup and some vegetables. I mean, she made sure that I had food and she had cooked. So I don't forget those things, really. But the interesting thing is, there are people. One of the guys that I know has had a falling out with a family member, and I've been trying to say, it would be nice if you could mend fences. It really would, because my belief is that for all of us, if you can repair, if they're repairable, and there are certainly relationships that are not for whatever reason, if they're toxic or whatever, but if it's not, if you had a good relationship that took a bad turn, or if you had a relationship that had a fracture somewhere based upon an incident or incidents, the last thing you want to do is to find yourself on your last day on earth regretting that you didn't make it better. So I've been trying to say, listen, if there's any way to get back to that relationship, do it. And of course, his thing is, well, if somebody hurts you or somebody doesn't treat you the way you should be treated, why would you want to go back for more? And I say, the thing is, we have to learn as human beings, I think, and obviously everything I'm saying to you is based upon my belief system, but I believe what we have to do is accept people on the basis of who they are. We can't expect people to be there for us in ways that they don't have the capability of. We can't expect people to love us in the way that we need to be loved if they don't have the capacity to love that way, but they do love us to the best of their capability. So my feeling is that we need to accept people on their own terms if they're good people in our lives to begin with, if they're people who we care about. And I think if we care about them and they care about us, that's the ultimate goal. And I think when everything else is gone in life, what you have is your relationships. What you have is the love between you and the people that you care about. And friendship is really important. So that is my story. That's my story for today. And I'm going to do my very, very best to come back. Well, I'm going to try to come back on Sunday night. Sunday could be interesting in many ways because if I'm well enough, I do want to go to that writer's thing because they have it every other week. And as I say, it is a 5-hour thing. It starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and ends at 6. And it's about 40 minutes away from here. So I could be tired, but I could be very energized as well. So it's possible. All right, once again, I'm going to tell you, for those people who were interested in my doing the readings, just send me the email, let me know that. We will schedule a time that works for everybody. And all the rest of it, I'll do my best to come back on Sunday. If I cannot, I'll try to let you know. And I'm going to continue to try to get those other bloody things up and loaded. The writer's thing, yeah, I definitely want to do it, but I can't go back to the writer's thing if I don't write something before I get there, because the goal is to then read it, and everybody gets to help each other as writers by critiquing it and giving every. I love you too, and you know that. To help each other if they see something in their writing, or have a way to help a writer get past a certain block or whatever it is. So there you go. Okay, I will see you soon, however it works out. And I'm so glad we had this time together. I feel like I need to pull my ear and sing a song. Take care, my friends. I love you, and I'm so happy we got to share this time. Take care. Have a wonderful time until I see you again. Bye bye. Yes, gonna work on that. Take care.